Hi you guys, welcome to week 12 of the course. Wow, course is almost done. Isn't that amazing how fast it's gone by? Some of you guys are like, no, it really has not gone by fast. Hey, I am at home and my kids are asleep, so I'm gonna have to talk a little quietly, so hopefully you can hear me. And sorry, the lighting kind of stinks in my house. At least for making videos it does. Yeah, videos. So, yeah, I know you guys are really upset that I took off a couple of weeks from making videos, because you know I love it so much. Alright, jumping right in. Week 12, no, week 11 that we just finished up. Yeah, so I found this video, Daughter from Da Nang, and it really reminded me a lot of the Fadiman reading, particularly in terms of culture clash and then just the very important role of history and how history can really disrupt individuals' lives. So, yeah, you guys had a lot to say about that and a lot to say about comparing the two. So, just to go over some of y'all's posts, Kelly, I really like that you brought up loneliness and just how lonely this woman must have felt, Heidi, how lonely Heidi must have felt being sort of in between these two worlds. And I think my favorite posts that all of you guys have all had to do with the racism inherent in this situation. And not just the racism, but really, if anything, it's that this film complicates some of the critique of assimilation that we've read. That immigrants, the critique of assimilation was that, look, immigrants don't necessarily assimilate, and, immigrants don't necessarily all become, just like the mainstream society. And in fact, they have all these transnational connections. And this is a case where this isn't necessarily true. I mean, sure, there are transnational connections, but not very functional ones, at least by the end. So, right, Greg, Sharada, Tanya, even Stephanie. I like Stephanie, you talk about how this challenges the assumptions about the middleman minority. But yeah, Greg, Sharada, Tanya, I mean, you guys all point out that part of Heidi's problem was that she had so completely lost her Vietnameseness, especially growing up in a small southern town, where there was some racism in just that her family did not want to, her host family probably did not want to emphasize the Asianness of her and really just wanted her to fit into a small southern town. Right, moving on. Marianne, I confess I don't really understand what you mean about the institution navigating through the individual, but I think I like it, but I don't want to say that I know what you mean. So if you get this, and if you have a chance, clarify that, yeah? Because I think it sounds cool. Or it might be cool. Donna, I like that you point out the lesson from the Fadiman reading, in that there really is a lot of power just in acknowledging and then dealing with cultural differences. But it's interesting because I was playing your post off of Kathy with a C, Kathy with a K, and Jana's posts, who all point out that the cultural differences aren't necessarily these broad ones, like about money, but are often more just about privacy, or language, or separation from the familiar, or culture shock. All things much more amenable to counseling. Teddy and Virginia, I can't tell if you guys are blaming Heidi for the disruption that she caused. In some places you seem like you are, and I was like, really? Because to me, she's such an innocent pawn in all this. I mean, she really was the child, and still is, kind of, in a lot of ways. But Virginia, I'm not sure you are saying that, because I think in other posts you say, look, she didn't really choose this, right? I mean, her families on both sides do. Shad and Haley, I find myself really agreeing with you guys that there was a lot of arrogance attached to U.S. foreign policy at the time. And yeah, I also fault her birth mother for a bad decision, although God knows I'm sure my kids will fault me for bad decisions that I've made. But, did the mother choose to put her daughter in line for an airplane? Yeah, sort of. Sounds like it. But then only because she thought that the girl, who was half white, would have gotten killed or at least really discriminated against in early communist Vietnam. Greg, thanks for sharing your work and the ICE Center. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Hey, a bunch of you guys didn't post last week. I'm not sure if that's post-spring break burnout or pre-Easter burnout or what. And a couple of you guys have emailed me this past week asking, hey, what's my discussion grade? You can keep track of this yourself, only in that, I don't use the grade book in Blackboard Learn just because it's awful and it's really clunky. But, you can figure this out yourself in that if you guys have posted on time, and if you've responded to 2 posts, like the instructions say every week, if you've responded to 2 posts with more than just a word or two, then you have an easy A for your discussion grade. Like that's all you got to do is stay up on the discussions and turn them in on time. Speaking of turn them in, or maybe turn them back on time, your midterms. I did them all about 2 weeks ago, or I'd finished them all by 10 days ago, and so what I see in Blackboard Learn is a page where you guys turned in your midterms. So on that same page, further down, there's something that says Instructor Notes, and so that's where I turned in my comments and grades to everybody. So a lot of you guys did not get them or haven't received them back that way. So for everybody who's emailed me, and it's over half the class now, I think probably like 18 out of 25 of you guys, you have emailed me, and I've just emailed you back. Let's just circumvent the crazy clunkiness of Blackboard Learn, all right? So if you're one of the people who haven't gotten them back, then just email me, and then I'll just email it right back to you. Oh, hey, grades in general were really good from that. Jana, Tanya, Marianne, Kathy, you guys really rocked that, so good job, you 4. All right, coming up this week is another regional kind of topic. It's migration in Europe. Alicia keeps it pretty event-oriented, so it's not a really big, heavy theory week. There are resonances to each situation, though, to stuff that we've talked about. So what I took out of this is, from her lesson, immigration in Europe is complicated, and it's very situationally dependent on whatever country it is. But I think as you guys learn about events, you'll see that there are a lot of common resonances with other things we've talked about, particularly in terms of structural imbalances and structural differences between, and it depends on which comparison you want to make, between the global south and the north, or between east and west. Even structural imbalances within a society, sort of as in the creation or the perpetuation of these sort of marginalized dependent minorities, which then has a lot to do with the same kind of stuff we talked about this past week, you did in your discussion post. Has a lot to do with racism, economic need, assimilation and non-assimilation. I have to hurry up, I only have a minute. So look at the assignment that I came up with for this week based on the lesson. It's really to pick any country in Europe, pick any issue you want, and present it to the class. You can, when you do, present it with ideas about what you think is really relevant, and try to make parallels with other stuff we've read. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to everybody. Hope you guys spend it eating lots of candy and spend it with family. All right, bye.